Yo, what's happening, folks? Welcome back to OG DIY, and today I need to do an oil change in the Lexus LX. I got a 2017 LX. It has just over 80,000 miles on it. And, I think there's a number of folks out there, as soon as the light button goes on for mileage, or in my case, it says maintenance required, that one, that makes some folks cringe, right? And it's going to hit your pocketbook. You take a Lexus down to a local Lexus store, and no fault to folks who need to do that and have the convenience and the money to do it. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's not cheap for an oil change. You're going to come out of there with a pretty good sized bill. Now, it's easy to roll into Walmart and buy an oil pan that will take all the dirty oil in. Get your oil there, get your oil filter there, and I even bought my my ramps that I put the vehicle up on. And then from there, it's just kind of sort of easy to unbolt the bolts and drain it out, reset the computer, and be on my way. And I tend to change my oil about every 5,000 miles. I'm a bit overdue. I'm about 6,000 miles this go around, because it's just far better for the life of the vehicle. You change your oil more often, in general, you're going to get a lot more life out of your vehicle. So might as well do it at home rather than having to spend all the dough consistently having others do it. Again, no fault if you need to go out and have somebody else do it. No big deal. It's the right thing to do. But if you have the opportunity to do it on your own, I suggest you do it. So I'm just warming the car up here a little bit, and I'm going to back it into my driveway and then get it to the top of the driveway and put the ramps up front, and then roll the truck up onto the ramps and get this baby prepped and ready to go. Let's do it. All right, there we go. Nice and easy. Pulled it up on the ramps. Got a lot of room to work up under that thing. I mean, a lot of room. All right, let's get some equipment we need to get this oil change done. Let's get going. All right, tools of the trade. You gotta have your sockets. You can hand crank it with a hand socket wrench. I prefer a powered one. That little baby right there was under, I think that was under 30 bucks from Walmart. Holds 16 quarts. Typical oil change is about half that. Gotta have a rag. Don't forget your cardboard underneath for any spills you have. And then oil filter and oil. And that's a genuine Toyota part I picked up at Walmart that fits all Land Cruisers and LXs that have the 5.7 liter motor. So that's full synthetic, 0W20. You can double check that on Google, but one of the things I love about manufacturers, particularly Toyota, is look at that. They also put it right there in the oil cap. So there's no messing that one up. Anyway, we're good to go. Don't mind the metal flakes. That's got nothing to do with the engine that are on there. If you notice those, that's from a van project where I'm cutting extruded aluminum. Anyway, let's get up under here and let me show you the next step. Get this stuff ready. And one of the things I'd like you to notice is on this vehicle, right here, there's like a little area, a little hatch, so to speak. So let's see what's under this hatch. The reason it's important is you need to just kind of be observant on your vehicle. Most don't have this, all this sort of like body armor underneath, and you can get at things a little easier. But right there is your oil pan. Better look at that oil pan up there with a 14-inch nut on it that we're going to take off. Back this camera up a bit because you can get some splatter, and that's why we have, kind of the protection we need, which is you got it in the form of a rag and any random cardboard, which is very helpful. Keep the oil off of things. So one piece of
protective equipment I forgot to mention that is very helpful, in addition to the rag, is a glove, because we're going to get this bolt out, we're going to back it out, and then the oil's going to shoot out. And it's good to have, and you know, you can clean up afterwards with rags and whatnot, but it's always good to have a glove ready to go. All right, we got ourselves a 14. We're in reverse here. All at once. Here we go. Get this off of here and watch it come out. Here we go. And I like to look at it and just see if it's pretty smooth looking still, or if it's sludgy. If you're changing it every 5,000 miles, I can see the sun shining through this oil. It's dark. You can tell it's been used, but it is still in good shape, which, you know, you keep your oil changes at a reasonable interchange and you're going to have it looking like this in general. So that is getting a little bit of splatter here, but not bad. I got a little wind here that's pushing the oil my way. Not so fun. Try to cover that up as we go. All right, so we got to get the plate, skid plate essentially, in this particular vehicle. Like I said, most you're not going to be dealing with a skid plate environment, but to do that, we need to take this plate off because the oil filter is right up under here. Back to a 12 millimeter. That one doesn't look like it needs to come out, frankly. That's to a different holder. That one I think needs to come out. Yeah. So that one goes there. I try to put these bolts in sort of an order so I can put them back appropriately. Let's see. Put it back. All right, here we go. We've got that off. And this right here is the bottom of our oil pan housing. Right there. So we're going to take this off. And it looks very similar to, I think it's a 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch socket extension. And that's what allows you to just crank that off. And then you plug in to drain the oil out. You plug in where this comes out, and then you drain all of this out first into the oil drain pan. So I'm going to go grab that tool. So let's see. Let's get this moving here. That's loose enough. And that's that cap, and it's going to drain just a little bit. That's the cap under the oil filter. And then you take this plastic piece. It's got these little nodules right here, and you just push it up in there. And here comes the oil. There we go. Got to give it a little bit of a good push. It's just a little oil filter worth of oil in there, so it's not going to last too long. We can move on to the next step, which is to pull that plastic piece out. And then we'll take out that housing that holds the oil filter. All right, here's a good look at that plastic nipple that goes in there, and it's pretty well drained out. So all you gotta do is grab a hold of that, twist it sideways, and it'll come off. There we go. Just pushed on it sideways. Off it comes, and then the next step is we're gonna get up in here and twist this whole housing off. All right, so this is sort of a traditional looking housing to remove a filter holder. And you just put that up there. That's, let's see, is that tighten? No, that's loosen. Feeling a little tight, actually. There it comes. And you're probably going to get some oil out of here too. That's why I still have position down here to catch whatever comes. Should probably take my watch off. That's silly. All right. You're welcome. Pleasure. There's the old, gave my neighbor some peaches off the tree. All right, there it is. So that's it. It comes right off of there. That's the dirty one. You see that slide off of there. And this has got a rubber gasket right here. And then there's another rubber gasket on the bottom that we'll replace as well. All right, again, here's the new filter. Inside of here are two O-rings. Big one that goes on the outside of the filter holder, which we'll replace. And then here is your new filter element. Very simple. So it doesn't slip out of my hands. And you can see right here, here is that old O-ring. And it goes right here in this area that's very apparent, at least on this filter housing. Right there. You go around it. It's okay to get a little bead of oil on there. Now let's put the new element on, and there's no right side for that. You can put it on this way, and you can put it on this way. No, you can't. It only goes on one way. How about that? Yeah, it goes on that way too. I thought it went on both directions. Okay, and then let's hand tighten this back in. Let's see, let's just get it in there until we get the threads covered. We want the whole thing up in the threads. So we're not all the way in yet. Right there, okay? That's as far as we need to go. Threads are all the way in. And don't forget, we took off this little threaded cap on the bottom, and that needs to go back in, that right there. And that is the bottom filter housing cap. That goes in as well. Give that a little minor crank. And that's enough. I just hand tightened that so it's not at an appropriate tightness, and that's the oil pan nut. And put the hand crank on this just to an appropriate level, right there. Let's see if we can hand tighten it for now. Okay. All right, that one's in. So now we're just going to put the skid plate cover on the bottom of this and start putting the new oil in. All right, well, everything is done underneath, and it is now time to load in the oil. So as I said earlier, thank goodness Toyota, Lexus, I love the way they do that. Otherwise, I got to go Google it, which is fine. You can Google it or find it in your glove box. And, you know, here's my humble opinion on glove box material. All of it's chaos. None of it really makes sense. You can't even find things appropriately. So we're putting in 0W20. This is 5 quarts. This takes 8 and change when you do a full oil and filter change. The thing too is this is actually screwed in, which is great. There's threads in there that copy the threads of this oil filler cap. Leave that right there. All right, so fully 8 quarts are now in the engine, and I'm going to start it up, crank it up, let it run a little bit. I'm going to take down the front hydraulics and lower the front end, only because this is a sloped driveway and I can level it out so I can get a kind of a truer reading of how much oil I have, because I'm fully expecting to put a little bit more in, because it's supposed to take 8 and change on quarts. So I'm going to start it up. Sounds good. Just do a look around. No oil dripping. Everything's put back together. All right. Let me lower. All right. Important to now check your oil. This rag's got some very nice clean oil on it, so I'm cleaning up some areas that I tend to when I get in here. So I'm going to put this in, see how much shows up on the dipstick. I'll bring it over to you. You can see that. It's still low. So we want it about halfway. We'd like it to be almost right up to this second dot. And so that's probably another close to a quart. These big ones, they got a nice gauge along here for the quart count. They got liters on this side and quarts on this side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quarts. Just leave it right there. The one thing I got to do on my vehicle is I need to set the maintenance light. As a matter of fact, I can show you that. It's no big deal. All right, so oil change is done, and we're gonna adjust. You see at the top, the triangle? These are the arrow buttons on the Toyota and Lexus product that I'm working on. See, I can move it this way and this way. I wanna go to the settings, which is this one. And then it says, you can see there, it says scheduled maintenance. So oil maintenance, reset data. Yes. Data has been reset. All right, and we're done. So thanks for joining me at OG DIY for this oil change. Oil changes are relatively easy to do, and you can save money, a lot of money over time, particularly as you get into the like 10th, 12th, 20th, 30th, and you're using the same equipment over and over and over that you bought, in my case, at Walmart.
for a low amount of money versus going in and having somebody do the oil change for me. That's convenient and it's great to do. But if you want to save a little bit of money and do it yourself and know it gets done right, do it the old-fashioned DIY way. Okay, folks, thanks for joining me. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe and come back to the channel here shortly. I'll have more videos on OG DIY. Be good. Bye-bye.